What's up, chuletas? Today we're going to be making a Christmas themed gnome cake. If you're new here, welcome to Thalias Cakes. Thank you so much for clicking on this tutorial. If you enjoy fun cake decorating and other cake related stuff, you might want to consider hitting that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any more cake tutorials. Before we start, I have a collaboration with Charity from The Lovely Baker. She made this adorable white French bulldog popping out of a Christmas stocking. It is so cute. So please be sure to check out her part of the collaboration at the end of this tutorial. The link will be in the description box down below. Alright, empezamos! For the body of the gnome, I used a 5-inch cake ball pan and I cut off the top of the dome so that it could hold up straight when I flip it over. Make sure when you cut the top of the dome, you do it really straight, because if you do it crooked, then your gnome's gonna be crooked. And that's kind of like what happened to me. I thought I had it all straight because it looked straight, but it wasn't straight, and it ended up leaning to one side. So anyways, and then I filled it with this delicious American buttercream, which you can get the recipe for down in the description box. I gave it a crumb coat and I put it to chill for 30 minutes and then gave it its final coat. So to smooth out my pelota cakes, I like to use a piece of plastic that I cut out from a fruit container, and it just works perfect every time. And I just start from the very bottom and I slowly work my way up. Just swipe it up all around. Just keep doing that all around the cake until you get a nice bola. Now I can put that cake to chill in the refrigerator for 30 minutes and then apply the fondant, or should I say the fondue. I hate when people say that. I mean, customers don't know, but they be like, yeah, that fondue stuff, I don't like it. Can you just make the cake without the fondue? It's too sweet. Can someone please tell me why gnome is spelled with a G? Shouldn't that spell gnome? Let me tell you something. I'm being serious. For the longest, I was on Pinterest typing in N-O-M-E. I had no idea that there was a freaking G in the beginning. So the whole time, I'm looking, scrolling, and I didn't find anything. All I kept seeing is this. And then I tried to spell it differently again, and then I got this. And I kept spelling it like that, and I'm like, yo, I can't find it. I'm surprised Pinterest doesn't have any gnomes on here. What the heck? Until I found another estúpida like me that spelled it wrong like me. And then I clicked on it, and then Pinterest referred me to other gnomes. And then I realized that all of them started to say gnome. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe the G is silent. And then I realized the spelling was G-N-O-M-E. You know what? I don't want to talk about it anymore. So for his big white beard, I cut out a triangle shape of white fondant and then I glued it on with some water. I set that off to the side because I wanted the beard to dry up a little bit before adding any of the little hair detail. For the gnome's hat, I wanted to make it as light as possible. So I used this styrofoam comb that I got from the Dollar Tree. But I would recommend getting a bigger one from Walmart. And you'll see why I say that later. So I trimmed some of the styrofoam off from the top like this. And to make the top of the hat curved, I used some of this floral wire that I also got from the Dollar Tree. And I took 4 of the pieces and twisted it up like this. I had to use 4 of them because it needed to be a lot more stronger. Just one is not good enough. And then all I did was stick it into the styrofoam. If you want to make this food safe, you could put some, I can't remember. Bro. Oh, I remember. Aluminum tape all around the flour wire. I don't know who in the world wants to eat that much fondant or whatever if you end up making it like me, but yeah, To mold the shape of the top of the hat, I used some fondant and I made sure to squeeze it on real nice and tight. And I just did that until I got something like this. So when I got to that point, this is when I realized that the cone was just gonna be way too skinny. I needed the hat to be a little wider at the very bottom. So the only thing I could think of was just to get some cake pop dough and just put it on and shape it and mold it to, you know, the size that I wanted. But to do that, I had to add buttercream all around the cone first. Now, if you really want to, you could just make the hat out of cake or Rice Krispie treats. I just ended up doing it this way, the more complicated way, you know? Once I was happy with the shape of it, I covered it in some buttercream and smoothed it out and put it to chill for 30 minutos, 30 minutes. Once that was done chilling, I covered the hat in some green fondant. And yes, placing the fondant onto the hat was a little tricky for me because it just has like a really weird shape. So take your time so you don't end up ripping it. To give it a little crease detail, I used this sculpting rubber tool thingy. I don't know what it's called, but I'll be leaving it down below in the description if you want it. So this cake was going to need some sort of support. I used one bubble tea straw straight in the middle, and then I did something very risky that I don't recommend. I put 4 lollipop sticks, but your girl didn't have any wooden dowels or any more bubble tea straw, so I had to do what I had to do. The reason why I don't want you to use lollipop sticks is because they're not the best support. You need something that's gonna be thick and strong to be able to hold up the other layer. So, you know, if you wanna risk it, go ahead, risk it. Pero just know that it ain't my fault. Now I'm going to place on the hat and add a thick snake of fondant underneath like this to hide the gap. Going back to the beard, for some texture, I used my clay extruder to get a bunch of little white strings, and then I glued it on with some water like this. And for his cute little nose, I rolled up a little bola of fondant and I glued it on with some gum paste glue. Then I added a flat strip of fondant to make the border of the hat. Hey chuletas, if you're enjoying this video so far, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let's see if we can get this video to 300 likes or more, you know. Also, if you're not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing because your girl has a goal to reach 8K by the end of the year. My original goal was 10K, but I don't see that happening. So subscribe to my channel, okay? You know, it would mean a lot to me, alright, Karen? To add the star, I cut out a star shape by hand, which was hella hard because I didn't have a stupid, what's that called? A fondant star cutter that size. So I had to do it by hand. It was a pain in the butt. Anyways, I poked the spaghetti right through the star and placed it underneath like this. For the mittens, I made a ball and then I flattened it down and cut a little piece like this, and then I rounded it out using my fingers. And for the arm, I used a red piece of fondant, rolled it out into a log shape, and then I glued that onto the body using some water. And for the final 2 details, I twisted red and white together, wrapped that around the hat, and then added green, white, and red balls around the hat. Oh, qué lindo el Gnome. This cake was super fun to make. I really enjoyed it so much, and I would love to see somebody recreate this cake so that I can repost it onto my Instagram and Facebook. So make sure you tag your girl. So if you love your girl, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, click over here on this circle button because you'll become a chuleta and you'll be part of the chuleta family. You know what I mean? And before you head on out, please be sure to go check out Charity's part of the collaboration. The link to her video is down below in the description box. Thank you so much for watching and Merry Crema, okay? Eso está frío.